and educated themselves about it, and it's been a pleasure working with, educating you and you listening to everything. I know you've taken your lumps in this game like everybody else.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see these men who have never dug a ditch or built a house or worked probably at a restaurant in their life, what they're going to do when this source of income is gone. And are they going to rat on each other when the whip comes down, so to speak?
They all do. I posted the gentleman from Credit Suisse, his own lieutenants all ratted him out. It's in the Forbes story. It's all right now. They always do. They always seem to turn on each other because, you know what, when you're going to go away from jail for 20 years, you know what, it's not, I don't care if you stole $1 billion, billions of dollars. When you go to jail and you lose years of your life, you get one chance of life. And you know what, I'm not spending it behind cars for any amount of money.
So you think there's still honest people on Wall Street that will follow the rules and buy these bastards in?
Absolutely not. The people on Wall Street that are going to come in here are coming with a knife in their mouth and looking to make as much money as possible. If they could give a rat's ass who's short the stock. And once they know they're starting to cover, they're going to come in here and buy it like they did in Bed Bath & Beyond. And what was that guy, Ryan Cohen? Him and the guy from the big short, I forget his name, Michael Burry. I reached out, I sent him my reports on GameStop before it went, a long time ago. These guys, what are they here for? They all bought, the stock ran, they all sold.
Somebody just put up that the Federal Reserve calls for an emergency meeting on Monday. I wonder what that's all about.
It's about Alpine.
It could be Alpine. It could.
I just came across my ticket. Here you go, Alpine. The Federal Reserve is going to lose another 30 to 40, $50 billion because there's some idiots selling counterfeit shares.
Do you think there's a prime bank backing Alpine that's going to be in trouble?
I'm sure that they have ties to somebody who's lending the money, who's going to pull it in. Because they know that the DTC is coming. Listen, these guys, Alpine's been robbing people for a long time.
Right.
They probably have all that money hidden in some banks in the Davids. If the government comes up to them and says you got to put up another $20 million to keep this thing business going, the first thing they're going to look at, if we put $20 million in, they know where the $20 million came from, right?
That's a good point.
Leave the payment trail right back to our accounts for payments, right? Do we want to do that?
Hell no.
We just say, hey, you know what? This business is over with already. Let me get out of here. We robbed $1 billion. Let's go enjoy life. Whatever happens now, I have nothing to do with it. File for bankruptcy.
Are they going to find it hard to even find someone to take the sell orders if they want to keep selling?
Oh, once that paper comes in, like with the Credit Suisse shutting down today, and they shut down all orders. Once they shut down, it's all on. These market makers don't take orders. No, if they don't have any guarantee, the market makers don't take the order.
So how would you see, I know we can't predict it, but how would you see one morning, one day, the stock starts trading on the way up? Does it open up or?
It could be where the first order today could be someone on the phone trying to sell 500 shares of a nickel, right?
Right.
And then it'll go 190, 197, 675, 3 and a quarter, because you'll be bumping into people with, 1,000 for shares, 10,000, somebody flipping it.
Right.
And that's how it'll start. It'll be because like we said, once they take their foot off the landmine, that's when they blow up.
And talk about GTC orders and how people should, I know it's their decisions, you're not giving advice, but how would you recommend people handle?
I'm giving you 100% advice that any stock you ever trade, use a GTC order. It's not criminal to say this. This is education. If you don't use a good, if you need to put a good tilt cancel order, I don't care if you get up out of your desk and go to the bathroom, you can miss the trade.
Right.
Okay. Always use a GTC order. You can, because when you miss, if a stock goes up, I don't care if it goes up a quarter, you need to have your order out there ahead of time. Okay? Because a lot of times you'll get a fast market where the stock will go, let's say you're offering it at 10 and a quarter, it goes to 10.30, and you say, wait a second, I put my order in at 10 and a quarter. It was a fast market, you don't get your execution.
That's right.
It can't go past your number if your order is on the books.
That's right.
If you try to throw it in while the stock is moving, you can get nothing done.
That's
right.
Right.
It's a fast market, and you'll sit there with blue in the face yelling at the wall.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So you put it out there in advance. You can always change it. You can lower it. You can raise it. You can do whatever you want. And just make sure you always have something out there. Any stock you're playing. I used to use GTCs and options. I buy 200-300 calls at 3 and a quarter, and I wanted to sell 100 at 350. I put them out there. As soon as I bought them, so 100 350, 100 375, and 100 at 4 and a quarter. Sometimes I get 2 orders done, and I'm still, and I stock at the 4. Instead of selling at 4 and a quarter, they offered it. The higher went was 420. I never made that sell.
A lot of firms don't allow GTCs or high ones anyway. And what I've suggested is doing day orders. I don't know what your answer is.
Well, listen, whatever the number is, you pick, listen, I don't care if it's 100 shares. You always feel better making a sale. So pick a number, you don't have to put it all out there. Pick whatever number, have something out there with them.
Right.
It doesn't hurt. You can always change it. Like I said, I went down for 2 hot dogs one time. It cost me $100,000. True story. I was on the 42nd floor. I took the elevator down, walked outside. I picked hot dogs, went back in, went up. The stock went from 10 to 21 to 11.
But you stole 100 mustard mustard packets.
When you get them on the dirty water stands, the dirty water dogs, you just get that guy with a stick. I don't know how it works, but that's how he does it. But that was the good old days down on Wall Street. But again, that's how I learned about a good till cancel. Everyone made fun of me, and they told me what to do. I didn't know at the time, and I didn't. From that day on, I always used a good till cancel.
Well, you give advice that, just one last thing on trading, you give advice that I think is pretty good about making sure that the trade doesn't become a loser. And I'll go further, but you probably know what I mean.
Again, never turn a winning trade into a losing trade.
There you go.
So when you, for example, GTII went from 60 cents to $9. I know some people didn't sell it. I got it. They're here for different reasons. But if you own 10,000 shares and it runs, you got to sell something to get some money off the table. And this way you can always say, hey, you know what? It did a round trip. And no matter what happens, I'm breaking even.
Right.
That means you didn't turn it into a loser. I mean, no one is ever going to buy a stock at $1 to low and sell it at the high at $899 and the high was $900. You're never going to get the bottom. You're never going to get the top. So get over that one.
Yeah.
So if you sell, a very famous money manager, hedge fund guy, worth about $16 billion and owns the Mets, told me to my face, always make sales and make an average sale.
Right.
I don't know about you, but he made $16 billion. I think I'll follow his trading patterns.
Well, we were...
Never go broke in the register.
I didn't always follow it, but we were also told, make sure, a lot of these stocks trade by appointment. I don't know how you would define GTII, but we were always taught, take advantage of the volume. Just get out when there's volume, or get something out when there's volume.
I've always been able to give it volume. It's a complete joke on Wall Street these days. The volume is so big, and there's so much phony trades going into that volume. It's hard to say. It's hard for me to take advantage of that because it's almost insane.
It's depressing, isn't it? Depressing.
It can create a 500,000 shares of fake volume. If the stock's trading 200,000 yesterday. All of a sudden we traded, let's say we traded 600,000 shares today, 180 back and forth all day. And these guys created, 500,000 shares in the same spot.
There's no price discovery. There's nothing.
But you can't, there's nothing that I can tell you, unless you're a professional, what's going on here all day long.
I think you told me about a friend of yours who used to read the tape and trade, and now he says he can't even do it anymore.
Yeah, they were tape readers. My older brother was a tape reader, excellent at it. Tape readers can watch the trades go across the tape. You can see whether they're up ticks, down ticks, sideways. If you did this in today's market, you're pulling your hair out because it's, these trades, example like GNS, how the hell is it being traded 30, 40 million shares in the same spot? Pretty great. It's impossible. It's like every buyer and every seller in the world bet at the same time. They rang a bell. Hey, everybody, come on out here. It's just the average volume in GNS is 23 million shares, 22 million shares.
It feels hopeless. Is it hopeless, or by having a success here in GTII, are we just it's gonna be the squeeze that's heard around the world? It's gonna change everything.
Well, I still think that companies need to fight. The company doesn't fight, what did I say? Kick them to the curb. You're wasting your time. I told that poor girl, Kat, who's an agency person, her friend passed away today. I happened to read a post.
Oh, that's so sad.
And I told her, I said, listen, life's too short. If the company's not fighting for you, don't fight, take a short battle, move along, go enjoy your life. I told her.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said, I wasted my life doing this stuff. Okay? Don't do it. I said, move along. Because you can see that the government has let this go on for so long. They have no regard, and why would anybody here waste their time? But you know what? When you band together and fight as the Romans, I keep trying to tell you, once we get up a little round top here, we get over the hill.
Well,
we get behind the Union Army. I'm from the North, but once we get behind the Union Army, I was told, if the South got around that, they would have won the battle, right? And it's
well, if Alpine goes down, which it looks like it is there any prime broker or market maker like that going to step in and start taking the orders to counterfeit shares in GTII?
Oh, no, the orders are going to disappear.
Exactly. So,
that's taking their foot off the landmine. Once they stop selling, there's no more sell orders. That's it.
So we're close to the end here for the good.
If you hadn't been my arm, I think we broke through the hill we're going around to.
Well, I've kind of run out of questions.
Again, listen, it's a long week of this nonsense. I got it. Unless you were trained to sit at a desk all day and do this stuff and memorize it like I was, it's not easy. But for me, it's very easy. It just rolls off. I mean, it's like nothing, Like electricians just looking at wires all day. It's the same nonsense. But again, you have to study it. This is a special situation. What happens in the rest of the world means nothing.
It seems like this was the Kramers, an arrogant, stupid guy who then got in trouble, and Alpine took over the accounts because he couldn't go further. And now Alpine's in trouble. I can't, for the life of me, think who's going to step in and take over this trade. So it's really hard to envision this goes on much past the end of March, which is when the court deadline is. I think March 29th is what somebody told me from the DTCC about the deficiency that Alpine has.
In a world of 7 months to a year ago, I could see someone giving him leeway.
Right.
in today's world, with the collapse of everything, do you think anybody's giving these guys a fair shot? Can they give them another shot?
No.
So,
No.
So, I mean, if they got up and pleaded and begged and did everything a year ago, they said, these guys made a mistake. You know, they paid, we fined them with the money and all that. That would maybe they got by. Maybe. In today's world, I don't think their lawyers are going to show up. Wherever the hearing there is.
So the thing that's most likely to cause this to explode to the upside is price, right?
Well, no, basically, besides price, you know, I've always said accumulation is the best thing. So, you know, the accumulation always leads to higher prices. And as you can see, accumulated $1.40, $1.50, $1.60 without these wild swings. They keep trying to trade the swings. When the swings don't happen, the stock just moves up. Accumulation always leads to higher prices. But I don't really think the price, because the stock went to $9.
Right.
It should have, at that point, it should have been $100, right?
Yeah.
Alpine's fraudulent activities would put that down, right?
Right.
So in this case, once they stop selling and there's no more selling allowed, there's only going to be buys. It's going to be buy, and the only people that are going to be selling are people that are long.
Right.
Listen, I always tell my friends, I tell friends, family friends, I don't care if you don't own the stock, I could care less.
Right.
But you have to own 100 shares. Everyone you know has to own 100 shares. Because if we're right, and I believe we are, you're going to see something that you've never seen before. And to not be there because you're being smart as it's 100 shares. Other people tell me that all the time. I buy 100 shares. I said 100 shares, just hold on to it, and then you can sit there and say, at least I was part of something special. I fought back. I know these people, they fought back, and you know what? They helped the system. So I'm not saying to buy 1 million shares to help support. I'm not saying you have to own 100 shares. That's what I tell them.
Well, that's a good thing to bring up again. You keep saying that this is life-changing and people can make wealth they hadn't planned on. Talk about that a bit. Why are you so confident with GTII and
Only because the reason I'm confident is because management has shown me for 2.5 years they're with us.
Right.
I spoke, and I'll tell everybody again, MULN, I spoke with the management. I gave them all the documentation. I led them down the road. They did nothing.
Right.
He yelled, he wanted to join the team, fight, all his shareholders. And I said, this guy's not fighting, get away. If you don't fight, you can't win.
Right.
The stock is 18 cents now.
It's terrible.
ROOT. I spoke with them. The stock was 16, down from 30. I told them they didn't want to do anything. The stock went to $1. They had to reverse it. It's back to $4. I don't even know where it is now.
It's terrible.
If you don't fight, that's what happens to you. You get destroyed. There's nothing I can say. Listen, I'm not a bright guy. I just understand this is nonsense. If you just sit here and watch criminals manipulate the stock and not do anything, I just can't believe it.
Well, I know Gretchen Morgensen said that you're not dumb.
Oh, I showed you that email.
You have that going for you.
I still don't know how she's never done a story. She contacted me about doing a story. I'm doing the story, and she disappeared, and she's the Pulitzer Prize winner. Figure that one out. She called me up and told me the criminals, and the FBI want these guys behind jail. They're loan sharks, they threaten people. And she told me that. I don't even know who they were. When she sent me her story that she did on it, I couldn't believe it. I said, these guys are still walking around? That was 2.5 years ago.
Well, it's amazing. They lost in New York on usury. They just moved down the street here to Diagonal Road in Alexandria, Virginia.
Right. So listen, again, I always say, I know a couple of people that are billionaires. You can only eat 3 meals a day. You can only do so much. You can only spend so much. And if you make this much money, they've been lucky enough that they stole all this money over years, just disappear. But they can't. They're pigs. This is what they want to do. They all want to become Warren Buffett. They want to donate money to the children's hospital. They want to do this. They want to do that. Under their name, they think they're going out as a superstar. And it happens. Bernie made a guy from Credit Suisse billions of dollars. What was he want? Would he want to conquer the world?
Well, Denzel Washington said you never see a hearse pulling a U-Haul. You said something about a cemetery the other day.
I forgot what it was. Billionaires in the cemetery. I forgot.
You can't have all your money in the cemetery. What are the odds of the 1-800 deal or the Trento mine or any of these other things ever happening?
I can't. I don't. These are not my companies. You've seen photos of Tommy Wayne with the chairman of the 800 law firm.
Right.
Go back in time. Tommy said, "Great company, this, that." So there's your introduction to the company. It's not mine. I don't know them, but lawyers don't put out press releases to try to tell us to hype the stock.
Right.
Okay, that's number one. No law firm who's doing a lot of business, making a lot of money, that wanted to go public, okay, is going to put out press releases to help GTII.
That's exactly right. They're not going to want to take the risk either.
Why would you take the risk? We're going to put out some fake press releases to help GTII out.
That's right.
So I'll take a guess on that. It's my guess. I would say that it's 150% that that's going to get done. Only because lawyers don't do stuff that's not right or not fair. They do stuff for their clients that's crazy, but that's a different story. But for their own firm to jeopardize it and the SEC come after them for saying they're putting out false statements, I doubt that.
Right.
And that, not only are they putting out false statements, they're putting out for a while press releases that they're moving, doing an audit, spending all kinds of money on an audit. I believe that's moving down the road.
What do you think the company's going to do about the warrant that expires? Do you think they'll extend it or replace it?
But there's always issue another one. Listen, the only way to beat these guys, I told you 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Smash the dividends down their throats.
I agree.
That's it. Just keep doing it. Keep getting the share count. Keep doing it. It's a headache. It just keeps going down the road. The back offices, everyone's going to sit there and say, what's going on here? One dividend and you disappear, no one knows, out of sight, out of mind. Keep coming at them. Wait, there's another one. What's the symbol GTI? It's another one. It's another one. It's another one, and they can't take it anymore.
I love it.
That's all you can do, And I hope this stock. The final chapter for me on this thing would be, I pray this thing goes to the moon. I like to see GTI raise $50 million in the secondary, then turn around and just go buy Apple Computer and turn it into Warren Buffett. Don't do anything. Never do anything.
That would be amazing.
Just buy the stock. What does this company do? We're not building a business. We're going to buy Apple Computer like Warren Buffett. That's it.
Well, when that happens, you're going to be the Mick Jagger of short squeezes.
He's better looking than me. I'm not here. Listen, I'll be happy going to a pickleball court and doing that. I'm not here for that. I've lost a lot of money in this game like everybody else has. I'm glad that there's people here that hopefully benefit or who have benefited or whatever. But again, there's a few companies that need help, and I have no problem helping companies fighting cancer, companies doing this and doing that have no idea what's going on. They take advantage of doctors. They take advantage of these CEOs. Have you ever heard the crying and the destruction that these guys have caused in many companies? And when God forbid, it's your turn, and you're sick, and you need help, and these poor companies will get exploited. Where does the innovation come from? We don't have a doctor to treat us. We have to go to a witch doctor. Where are you going to get the medicine from?
It's just horrible.
I told Charlie Payne. Think about it. If anybody in your family gets sick, God forbid, where are you going to go to the doctor? They need special treatment. These poor companies are the ones that are working on this stuff.
It's just horrible. I mean, you're old enough, I am anyway, to remember when over-the-counter markets were actually a source of capital, and when you announced a financing, the stock would go up.
Yeah, I never see every one of them is negative.
Everything that, I mean, the IRS must be interested in it. Every client that Kurt Kramer and Charlie Mayo have, they put out press release. We're glad to grow with you. We're going to make you a success. They all go to zero, yet they can buy $5 million houses on Long Island. I don't know how it happens. They can have a white fetish. Charlie Mayo has a white fetish.
Right.
Cars that are white.
That's what they do. I mean, it's I don't know what they're bragging about, but I was lucky enough to make a couple of $1 million and no one got away from it. And I would be running in 2 minutes, I'd be running out.
Well, that's the thing. I think there's most of these investors are going to leave the market once they make money.
Well, listen, Bill, I think we always are welcome here.
Okay.
You know, it sounds like I'm in the basement. I'm sorry. I am in my basement. But anyway, listen, everyone, have a great weekend. If I hear any more news, I'll alert everybody. Thank you.
All right, Ham. Bye. All right. White cards are racist. White cards are racist? There's breaking news on Silicon Valley Bank. Hey, Ramiro. So GTII closed at 187, but it's showing 188. The ask at two smackers. It's pretty good. I'm going to pick one stock to look at. Let's see. CRTD. CRTD closed at 20 cents. That's pretty good. All right, so let's see what Scott Scheller. Bill, I'm an old guy. Come from navy blue. There are 300 million like me. All don't want a handout, just want fair play. I agree with that. People just want fair play. And yeah, first time Jimmy closing above 185 is ginormous. By the way, I cannot explain why my thing went down. My opinion is somehow they get in here and shut it down, but I don't want to be a conspiratorialist. It could just be that it's time for me to get a better way of organizing these calls. SIVP. I don't know anything about SIV. Oh, is that the bank? Is SIVP the bank? I guess. What happens to the shorts with the dividend? They have to pay it. And that's how you catch them out. Woo. Are you kidding? PacWest Bancorp is down 38%. Michelle, I do not know if that's the exact name. It's just when I looked up the now I'm getting all confused, Westpac Securities, it was owned by an Australian bank, something like that name that you're saying. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's it. Scott, I wish we had fair play. Hey, Jenny, good to see you. I'm so glad your husband's not here. I'd have to look up. No, I'm just teasing. I can tell that he's a good man. White cards are racist. I'm not sure I get that, Wizard Gray Balls, but all right. I was going to ask that first time, Jimmy, but he cut me off. He did, M. Casey, say about MMTLP, the main thing he said is that something is happening in D.C. And he gets that from Wes, so it's going to happen in his judgment very soon, whatever that means. He didn't elaborate, but he said the heat is on in Congress. He didn't use that exact word. And he also thanked everyone at MMTLP. And I, at my insistence, to my memory right now, you can go back to the last one and hear it, but he emphasized that everything, they have to take care of every single one. What I picked up in his answer about MMTLP is he expects it to start trading. That's not my opinion. I don't think they're going to let it trade, but he thinks they will, clearly. Yeah, it costs them exactly. Go venue. It costs them 60 million smackers. Barbara L. Trenchcoat Trader. That's a good name, Trenchcoat Trader. Could be a song. I agree with you, Jenny L. Jenny Rebecca. I think they want to get this off the plate and then go back to the war in the Ukraine. I always get rejected. Wizard Gray Balls. Okay, Trenchcoat Trader. Just a buffalo soldier and a trenchcoat trader. Ay, ay, oh. Ay, ay, oh. Ay, ay, oh. They're moving me from Africa. Oh, Claire, would it take? No, I think the money will come in your account right away because the buys will be cash, but the firms will be left with debit balances. That won't be your responsibility. They'll have to go after the DTCC to cover their debit balances. You'll get your cash. And you know, you make an interesting point. I'm going to be inclined, if it happens, to get my cash out of my account, at least while the emotions are high. I'm thinking that's what I would do. Yeah, Ham is in there fighting for you, Max Russell. Can we market sell? I wouldn't Trenchcoat Trader. I think that's a completely, if you put in a market order to sell, you're just bending over. And then when the order comes back, hey, you filled my order at $2.50 and the stock went to $250. That's not right. They're going to say, well, you gave a market order. And they're just not. You'll ask for time and sales, but they'll say it was a fast-moving market and some of the time and sales didn't hit. It's idiotic to use a market order. Idiotic, Trenchcoat Trader. For everyone that's on this call, do not use market orders. Period. Zero. Zip. Zed. If you feel the urge to use something similar to a market order, put in your sell underneath the bid. Let's say it's selling for $50 to $56, and you feel like it's going to go down. And you don't want to put your sell order in at the bid of 55 because you'll think you'll miss it. Well, at least put it in with a limit on it, like $45. Don't put a market order in. You'll have no standing when you go in to argue that you were cheated on the sale. Do not follow trench coat trader's recommendation, implied recommendation of using a market order. It's idiocy beyond even Kurt Kramer's idioticness. Yanis, I don't, it depends on how you're defining the squeeze, Yanis. How many days will it last, or weeks? I think the squeeze might have started right now. But the best analogy I can give, Yanis, is if you're climbing Mount Everest, which I have never done, or the Matterhorn, you first go through the valleys and then the lowlands, and then you kind of get up in the highlands, I guess, and then you finally reach the summit. On the other side of the summit is a cliff, and phew, you go down. But I think the peak will occur within, I don't know, within an afternoon. It might be a day and a half. But you could have really high rallies and collapses, and then it could rally again. So there's going to be violent moves. If I had to guess, particularly because Ham said it's not going to happen this time, he doesn't think that other shorts come in. If I had to guess, we're talking about less than 2 weeks, and the peak is less than 2 days. Yeah, if this goes over $50, Kevin Story, it is a ticking time bomb. I agree with that. A trailing stop, I didn't see your order, DC777. I would not use a trailing stop unless you want to lose your stock. Do you guys realize that you're the ass end of every trade out there? If you put out that you have a trailing stop, they're going to come down and take it. Well, wait, you're going to say, wait a minute, it never traded down there. Oh, yeah, it did. There was just one 30-second window where it went down. And I would not use a trailing stop, DC77, unless you just want to lose your stock at a lower price. What's the hill price? You think $10? What's the hill price? Oh, I don't know if it's going to be $10 that does it. I'm not sure what you're asking, but I think certainly by the time it gets to 13, 15, 21, I think then it's on its way. And to me, anything that gets the stock to 21, to be blunt, gets it to $2,000 or $3,000. Justice L, I feel hopeless for MMTLP. Well, you know what, Justice? I had clients that felt that way. I understand how you feel, and I had clients that felt that way. And you know what they found? Justice, all I can say to you is that's a feeling. Nothing more than feelings. Feelings I wish I'd had in my life, or I forget the lyrics, but it's just a feeling, Justice. Your feelings, frankly, are irrelevant in the case, and I'm not being impolite, I hope, in the case of MMTLP. Your feelings aren't going to change it one way or the t'other. It is, the solution is going to happen, and your feelings aren't going to enter into it. Ham points out that you might have avoided buying GNS at $6. It's now at $3. Or buying, I don't know. CLNV while it was, I don't know. I don't want to pick on any, I can't think of companies. So Justice L, I don't feel hopeless for MMTLP. They have to fix it, as Ham said on the call. He said it differently than I say it, but it's basically comes down to, if they want to have a viable United States securities market, they have to pay you. They have to take care of you. Yeah, Kevin, GTCs at E-Trade, they will. That's why I would recommend an account at E-Trade. They will place them at high levels. I would not. DC 777. No trailing stops. Just sell it. If it goes to your price, just go ahead and execute a few more trades. No trailing stops. Just get out at the price. You know, if it goes to 1,000 and you put a trailing stop in at 950, they'll come get it. Just sell it 1,000 if you want to get out. Don't use market orders. Don't use trailing stops, in my opinion. I don't think, Claire, they're getting free shares. But to give a better answer than that, I'm going to have to look at the cap table. Trying to remember the press release exactly, but I imagine it's treasury shares. Claire, let me look, because I'm almost into the stage of BSing you, and I don't want to BS you. I don't think they're getting free shares. He did explain the new dividend, Jay. I'm sorry. He did it right at the beginning. I didn't see this. Maybe he should have done it again. I'll read, before we get off, I'll read this news story again. Little green candle. Several banks are being margin called as I type this. This is what we've all been waiting for. Congrats. I would agree with that. TD Ameritrade, $50 GTC, Barrios says, went through. That's good. Yeah, let's go through the dividend. I'll try to do my best explaining it once we read the news. Wow, Josh Moore. Next week, we finally get the volume flowing back in. I think we have a 5 million plus volume day. That would be great. My own opinion, Josh, which is just opinion, we each have one. Some of us have more than one opinion. It's one of the blessings of being a human being. You can have more than one opinion. Anyway, I think the volume that you need to launch is over 10 million a day. Might be as high as 20 million. But anyway, that's my opinion. I'd like to see a 10 million volume day. Then I'd get really excited. The sheet's going down. Eddie, we have a gas station chain out in Virginia called Sheets, SHEETS. We have a lot of fun with that name. That makes sense, Line Phantom. The bank collapse might have been to eat one of their own. It could be. Reader, that April 13th. Are we going to be okay? 187, Josh Moore. I thought it was going to get to 2 smackers. I did see the offer go up there, I think. Oh, yeah, I just read it to you at the close. That's different. Hey, Karen, what did we miss? You missed the whole thing. All right, let me just go over read the news again. It's not very complicated news. I will sell, I'm not going to, my shares at 100. That's a great trade, Manuel. Yeah, I'm sorry, Little Green Candle. I was trying to think of the next question. Rick from Tennessee, how are you doing? It's good to hear from you. Yes, I think oh, I see DC 77. Yeah, okay, I got you. That's the information Fidelity's putting out. There's going to be so many, I don't know what a bracket is, College Athletes Network. I have absolutely no idea what a bracket is, but to me, you're buying GTII at $2 right now, or holding it, same difference. I think that if they could muscle up to the bars, bend them apart with their beak, they might be able to get it back down. I don't know. Could they get it back under $1? I really don't think so, but I guess that's your risk in my mind, is they somehow get it down $1. I don't see that happening. And in terms of brackets, whatever that means, I think you could start getting out of the stock somewhere between $4, $5, and $6, $7, $8, $9 in that range, because I think there will be selling. There's people that are just tired of it, and I think they'll just be glad to get their money back. So I think that'll be the first trip up in the stock. I don't expect that to last very long, because even if millions of shares were sold at $5, hundreds of millions remain to be bought. So anyway, I would expect the first sort of pauses would come in that range. I can't picture where the big GTC orders are going to be, but I would guess around round numbers, $10, $15, $20, $25, $30, $35, $40, $45, $50, you're going to see some volumes because people aren't very imaginative. The other thing is, I think you could see some volumes around 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144, those kind of numbers. And, you know, there's smart people out there that recognize why I'm giving those numbers. I just think that patterns arise in nature will arise in trading by a big group of people. So those would be some of the numbers I would expect to see some volume. I think $100, just because no one's imaginative, and I include myself in that, I think $100 will be a point. So if you had to pick brackets, I just have no idea what it means. But in terms of the highs, I think HKD is an analog. I think VW is an analog. And I think that the highs could go $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a share. But I'm not telling you to even try to get that number unless you want to. The reason I give you my ideas of the spikes is I think if you put GTCs out there, they're going to get filled. And remember, what happened with MMTLP. Don't be greedy. You know, make your own decisions about how you're going to get out. But I don't know. It's not a good answer for you. I just don't have brackets. But what do you want for nothing? Rubber biscuits? I don't know. What bracket do you use when it's trading at $1.89? They're all meaningless. 0 is the bottom in return for 1,800 on the upside. I don't know. I don't know what a bracket is. HKD wasn't a squeeze. Okay, I've heard that argument. But it certainly traded. Oopsie aped my pants. It certainly traded like it was. Yeah, Scott says buy on Monday,